Hello and welcome to the Somewhat Gelatinous podcast. I'm Scratch, but you can call me Norton, and Felix and Louis are absent, but the Jonateer is here.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderfully. How are you doing?
This is all, I'm good, thank you. This is all a bit deja vu-ish because we've already had an attempt at recording this podcast, but my computer crashed, so hopefully that won't happen again. Luckily we did get that much done. So, John, you're a northerner.
I am indeed, yes.
How is being a northerner?
Very northish, and I don't know. It seems very cold up here, but I get the impression that's all across the country right now. So
It is winter.
It is winter, yes. In case the viewers weren't aware. But yes, the northerners. Being a northerner, I'm not really sure what I can say about it because I don't have anything to compare it to because I've never been,
A
anywhere
southerner.
else. Exactly. So,
Well, that's John's insight into being a northerner. So, thank you for... No, I'm kidding. I'm ill and I feel really tired and I want to go to bed, but I'm not going to. And we're going to talk about some things because Felix and Louis aren't here, as previously said. John's channel, he has he is on a network channel called The Simpleton Thing. I'll direct you to that at the end. But what sort of stuff do you do with your channel, John?
my channel, I think I'd like to think that we do a sort of a range of things, or at least attempt to do a range of things. We've got news-based, podcasty things. That's why it's brilliant. We talk about weird news stories. Occasionally, we do some sort of gameplay stuff, and we're hoping to branch out to slightly more interesting stuff like sort of sitcom-based things, parody-based things. Just trying to take it areas to boldly go where no man has. Well, people have gone the area before, but I just want to do different things with my channel.
Sounds brilliant.
So I haven't done much before.
Yes, that was definitely what I was looking for. We're going to go on to our gaming section if there are no objections. So, for the third time of asking, John, what games do you regularly play and what have you been playing recently?
I don't really tend to play games. I just sort of plan out games and have ideas in my head that I think that would make a brilliant app for a phone that people can twiddle their thumbs on and play in meetings and then get filmed in political conspiracy whatevers. But I do tend to keep my sort of finger on the pulse, as it were, with games and look at what people are playing online. And I've seen that sort of GTA 5 with the first person update has been sort of popular with Let's Players and that sort of group. But I think Minecraft, particularly modded versions of Minecraft, is a particular game that I played recently.
Yeah.
It's a good game for the mods, particularly the mods, because it just takes it into areas where.
So yes, what have I been playing recently? I've been playing some things. Some things. I have been playing some things. There's a thing that I've been playing on to Xbox, and I can't remember what it is.
On to Xbox? You're turning into a northerner now.
Yes, I do this occasionally. Yes, I've been playing recently WRC 10 because I'm the sort of person that likes that sort of game. It's the usual. It's a rally game with stages and things. The only annoying thing about it is the co-drivers. If you choose the man or the woman, you'll be extremely annoyed with them. I've had to go with the woman because she's slightly less annoying. But other than that, it's a brilliant game. Nothing else. The usual Euro Truck Simulator occasionally. I've been playing some more Garry's Mod. Not much really. I've been fairly boring in terms of games recently.
Fair enough.
Yes. So things usually just takes a lot longer because you have a lot more people here.
Yeah, I can see where that would
be relevant.
Yeah. Exactly, yes.
We're just going to talk about some releases now then, I guess. Right, what have we got on Steam? Popular new releases. Hang on, I got to sneeze.
Sneezical difficulties.
Okay, there we go. Mic muting away. Anyway, what have we got? We've got, School of Dragons, which is a How to Train Your Dragon spin-off, the film, not the book. That's disappointing. Right. That's free to play. The tags are Dragons, Adventure, and massively multiplayer. DreamWorks Animation's How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Players raise and train their own dragon, interact with characters from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise, join clans and embark on journeys and quests alongside their Viking pals in-game. So, basically the same as a film, but you're actually playing it. Looks almost like a MOBA, actually. Looking at these pictures, looks like a really bad version of Dota or LOL. So, yeah, don't play that. What else have we got here? Oh god, Steam's taking a shit.
Has Bread Simulator come out yet, or was that not a thing?
I am bread. Yes, that's out. It's I'm going to go into it a bit more now because I went over it in the last podcast briefly, but I didn't really know anything about it. I just read it out. Basically, it's made by the same sort of people. It's made by the same people as Surgeon Simulator. So it's the same sort of deal, but you're a slice of bread.
Yeah.
And you have to maneuver yourself around the room into a toaster, and you've got to avoid dirty things on the floor and on the walls, and stop yourself like falling on some festering meat or anything. So yeah, it's the same sort of game, but it's a silly game that can just be played as an addictive game as well. It's a joke game, but it's actually a good game. It's a playable game that you can play a lot, and you won't get bored with it. Of course, it's early access right now, so there's not many levels for it. But yeah, if you want to get it now, I assume you'll get the rest of the game when it comes out. So that's what's that now? That's £7 at the moment.
Oh.
Yes, £7 at the moment. So it'll probably be more when it comes out. So if you're interested in that sort of thing, I'd get it now. What else we got? Dead State zombie survival game. That's just another Left 4 Dead copy, really. What else we got? Just going on to top sellers now. We've got Counter-Strike Global Offensive is now back at the top. Don't know why it dropped and came back so suddenly. Final Fantasy 13-2. Okay, well, that's 10% off. That's come out. All these Roman numerals. I'm not used to reading them. I had to think about that quite hard.
All right.
Call of Duty Advanced Warfare's dropped down since it was released. Football Manager 2015's up there. This War of Mine, survival simulation, atmospheric war. Let's have a look at this. In this War of Mine, you do not play as an elite soldier, rather a group of civilians trying to survive in a besieged city, struggling with lack of food, medicine, and constant danger from snipers and hostile scavengers. The game provides an experience of war seen from an entirely new angle. Okay, so it's sort of a detailed platformer, a bit like what's it called? Deadlight, if you've heard of that.
Right.
It's got overwhelmingly positive reviews, and there's 3.5 thousand of them. Looks like a very good game. I think it's probably from the same people as Deadlight, so just not zombies. Looks very good. It's recommended by Total Biscuit and some other YouTubers that I've been following on this. Very good. So I think that's about anything that's interesting on Steam. Anything that's caught your eye recently, John?
Let's think. Nothing particularly noticeable. I mean, I've already mentioned that I've seen about the Bread Simulator Rising.
Yeah.
I think it's someone compared it to a game called Mount Your Friends because of the controls and the way.
That's true. Actually, it is quite like that.
But yeah, there's nothing else that I can remember that's caught my eye.
I see.
I must admit, I haven't really been looking that much recently, but yeah, if I do hear about things, then they do stick in my mind. Yeah.
Okay.
I catch these things on the grapevine, as it were, I suppose.
So, I suppose if there's nothing else for anyone to say, we're going to move on to weird news section, which is the same sort of thing you do on Wyatt. It's brilliant, I guess. What have we got here?
Need help with news stories because I still have my Why It's Brilliant links.
Yeah. I'm on this site here. We've got Miss Bum Bum Winner has surgery to get her virginity back. I'm not sure that's how it works, but okay. Basically Miss World, but with bottoms. Lovely. Says she wants to get her virginity back with surgery. Okay, I'm interested to see how this will work.
I'm guessing, isn't there something like the hymen or something? I don't know. Biology's not my strong point, but isn't the whole virginity thing that the hymen gets broken or something?
I don't know. Blah, 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 22 underwent the vaginal rejuvenation surgery so that she can enjoy her first time with someone special. Now the model, whose career really took off after the world became obsessed with larger backsides, says she is abstaining from sex for a while. She said, "I wanted to undergo surgery to reconstruct my virginity." And it's got a weird long name for it for some reason. Before I have new photographs done. I wouldn't feel good about appearing naked if I wasn't exactly as I came into the world, if you know what I mean. You know, if you're going to appear naked, then you want to look innocent, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sort of contradicts each other, does it not?
It does rather, yes. This long name, was it hymenoplasty or whatever that's called? Is that?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, the word hymen's there, so I'm assuming it is to do with the hymen. I
Yeah.
actually learned something in sex education,
Mm.
at primary school or high school, whatever it was. I can't remember.
Mm.
My sex education was not brilliant.
No.
I left primary school thinking that coming and shitting were the same thing. That's how bad it was.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
quite a unique case.
And if that's the case for you in terms of genuinely being the case, then please see a doctor.
Please see a doctor. You're masturbating wrong.
Actually, I think some people do masturbate like that.
Well, I'm I'm not so
I
sure if
think.
it's the conventional way.
Is there anything conventional about masturbation? I don't know.
Well, I guess not. Japan is suffering from a crippling chip shortage.
Chips as in poker or
As in fries.
okay.
Something terrible is happening in Japan. Restaurants in the country are rushing to secure supplies of chips after a dock workers dispute in the United States delayed shipments and left them with a crippling shortage. A months-long slowdown in chip transit means that French fry supplies in many of Japan's fast food restaurants are rapidly depleting, with some taking drastic action to avoid a zero chip scenario. The Japanese arm of McDonald's said it has a few months' worth of stock, but it was keeping a close eye on things, while a Gusto chain has made plans to airlift in around 200 tons of chips to avoid running out. This is like a war zone, but you're just dropping chips instead of care packages.
Yeah, that actually conjures up quite sort of heroic yet disturbing images at the same time of all these sort of obese, desperate for their chips Japanese people just sort of reaching up to the sky as these Chinooks
Yeah,
in McDonald's liveries.
yeah, with like parachutes
Yeah.
going down.
Just
Like it's
dropping
just
down
like it.
the actual French fries in their little packets on the
Yeah,
parachute.
they like drop and then like all the slightly obese people like swarm to them, and then there's just like nothing there after they like disperse.
Yeah, that is actually it's a hilarious image, but still quite
Slightly scary.
yes.
It's like an apocalypse with obese people. Now, if you're obese, I'd like to apologise. John, you said you've got some links. Would you care to read them out?
I'll see what news stories we've got. Um, there's one about Christopher Lee's new heavy metal Christmas single.
Oh God, Christopher Lee, if you're not aware, is Count Dooku, and Willy Wonka's father.
Oh, sorry.
Turned turned metalhead. It's very cool. My brother's a metalhead, and he just thinks that's hilarious every single time that he gets mentioned.
Mm.
He is like a wizard.
Well, he is, yes. I mean, it's incredible to think because he is 92, you know,
He is 92. It's incredible.
and he's still rocking it at Christmas, whatever you want to call it.
Yes. Is he in the latest Hobbit?
I have no idea. Let's IMDb it.
I am, of course, going to see it on Thursday. When this comes out, it shall be the Thursday coming.
I haven't seen any of the Hobbit films.
Really?
No, I haven't.
Every year, our school there's the entire school goes to the cinema and just raids the cinema and fills it up, and we all go and see a film. So in the last 2 years, it's been
The Hobbit films.
the Hobbit films, and then this year there's a choice of the Hobbit or Paddington, and most people have just gone for the Hobbit.
I see. Yes. Christopher Lee is in it according to IMDb. So
I see. So at 92, he's still acting and rocking out them tunes.
yeah, he's not gonna give it up anytime soon.
No, I think his body will give up before he does.
He'll still be rocking.
He's gonna rise from the grave and be the most metal guitar player.
Let's see other news stories. Obese dog made to chase fake Christmas pudding in weight loss swim sessions.
That was like just a random collection of words, like out of a hat or something, that was just put in a sentence. Can you read that again, please?
Obese dog
Yeah.
made to chase fake Christmas pudding in weight loss swim sessions. So I'm assuming that this is a very, very fat dog swimming with like a stick coming out of its collar and a Christmas pudding that's not real hanging from that stick, like the carrot on the stick thing.
That was like something from a cartoon.
Yeah. Like you often see them on treadmills trying to chase something that's attached to them.
Yeah.
That's what I'm imagining for that.
What does the article say?
Let's see. I shall keep an eye on this to make sure. Okay, there's a. Wait, what? Oh, okay. That's a weird image. Animal experts have used the rubber Christmas pudding to encourage an obese dog to swim in a desperate bid to get him to lose weight. 150 pounds.
My God.
Fake. Oh, yeah, they actually refer to it as a carrot. It's the carrot on a stick thing. Use the Christmas pudding and the hamburger.
I'm not sure if that's cruel or awesome.
Well, they're trying to help the dog because he is overweight, but it's
so.
still cruel that they're using this sort of incentive, saying, "Look, you'll get Christmas pudding and hamburger. Make sure you don't squeeze it, otherwise it'll go." Eek!
Yes, just like completely shits itself.
Once it finally gets it, just tries chomping into it, and it just deflates in its mouth. The most disappointed fat dog you'll ever see.
It just sinks. Oh.
Its heart and its body sinks. Mathematician creates formula for the perfect donut.
Hey, I'm interested. Anything with donuts in it.
Let's see. Can we find it? Is this formula here in the article? Let's see.
Secret formula.
The squidgy to crispy ratio.
I see. I'm interested.
There's so many weird ratios. Like there's the hips to sort of like there's the ratio of a woman's figure in terms of what's most attractive, but it depends on the person. But someone supposedly created a formula. I think 1.6 is something to do with the ratio. I seem to remember that. I don't know. Might be making it up. Might be
very helpful.
Might be something that I dreamed once.
Mm-hmm.
With an average size hole. Oh, that's Domino's donuts. In case you're wondering, Domino's donuts, which I've never had and didn't even know they did any, have a squidgy to crispy ratio of 3.5 to 1.
Is that good? I don't have them either.
Hold on. Let's see. Do they actually say if that's any good? The whole is integral to the whole donut experience, so it makes complete sense that it affects the texture and taste. It's like polos. Polos would taste different if they didn't have a hole in. The relatively small hole means that the Domino's donuts are 78% squidge and 22% crisp, definitely squidgier than the average ring donut. So they don't actually say which is the squidge, which squidge is best. They just say, this is how squidgy this is how squidgy this is.
I guess it's opinion. So what he's come up with is actually a scale rather than a theory.
But the article refers to it as the perfect donut. So obviously he has used this formula. Oh, wait, no, this is the formula. Okay. R minus 2 squared over 4 brackets R minus 1. R maybe the sort of radius between the edge of the hole and the edge of the... I don't know.
Yeah, you don't want a really thin donut, I guess. Then it'd be more of a pretzel.
That's true. Huh. Yeah, that's rather disappointing, actually. I was expecting some sort of groundbreaking discovery about how to make the donut that everyone loves. And no, it's just this mathematician who's trying to overcomplicate, saying, oh, I like the Domino's ones.
Yeah. Just because he's a mathematician, you can say it in a clever way and everyone will, like, applaud him.
Yeah.
And a partridge in a pear tree.
Oh, yes, it's almost Christmas. That's news.
That is news, actually.
Yes.
I completely forgot about that. Tonight, actually, I've just...
It's not tonight. It's only the 10th today.
Well, no. It'll be the... I don't know, like 14th when it comes out? Or Sunday?
Oh, okay. It's the 14th today. Edit that bit in.
Sure. The thing is, it might not be the 14th because someone might be watching it on some other day.
Oh. Look at your clock, calendar, whatever you've got.
Clock, that's a time, John.
I know, but I was looking down at the bottom of my screen. It has the clock and the date in the same place. I just refer to that as the clock, even though
Yeah.
it's the clock. It's whatever day it is.
Yes. So I've forgotten where I was. Where was I?
14th, no, 10th, today, something.
Oh yeah, Christmas. Yeah. What was I saying? Oh yeah. Today, not it's Christmas today. What I was gonna say was today I have just finished decorating our Christmas tree.
Oh.
It's been a thing that my parents have refused to do this year, so me and my brother had to do it. And it looks awful, but it's brilliant at the same time. So that's a thing. Thing is, we've had the same candy canes in like the Christmas decoration box for about 4 years now, and every year you just find one that the packaging hasn't like split or anything. You just eat it. So like every year they've gone down slightly, like the number of candy canes on the tree, and they never get eaten particularly on the tree. So they just end up going back in the box,
Yeah.
which will be used for many Christmases to come. I should think. What are you looking forward to about Christmas, John?
Um, I don't know. I mean, this Christmas in this household is usually very. I don't want to use the word painful, but it can go a little bit awkward. Um,
Okay.
up until recently, it's been a very small number of the family at Christmas, mainly because there's a very small number of family left.
Yeah.
And two particular members of family love to have a sort of little battle between themselves. And what better day than Christmas? So my parents generally don't enjoy Christmas that much. In fact, they use Christmas Eve as an opportunity to get pissed. So Christmas Day is pretty much
Who
a
doesn't?
hangover. Then Christmas, then by sort of mid afternoon of Christmas, they're drinking again, and then Boxing Day we go out and keep drinking. So Christmas isn't quite as much of a blur as it perhaps should be.
Yeah.
Uh, but this year there's a couple more people around, including an actual child for once, which hasn't happened at Christmas since I was a child, which is about, I don't know, 8 years ago, depending on what you consider a child. If you consider a child who cares about Christmas and thinks Santa Claus is still real, we're probably going on about 14 years.
Yeah.
So yeah, child there to distract and hopefully interrupt any sort of conversations about who's suffered the most and who's died this year. And my parents are actually looking forward to Christmas this year, so much so that they're actually thinking of trimming up because we used to have a Christmas tree and then we set fire to it.
Oh,
And
okay.
because it was getting in the way and it was a pain to decorate just for that one day a year. And it was it went up.
Was it a real Christmas tree?
No, it was a fake Christmas tree. It
Oh,
was
okay, I was gonna say.
probably made of pure petrol or whatever. It went up like God knows what. But yeah, we've got two small Christmas trees this year and we've got loads of lights as well. So this house is going to be more festive this Christmas. So I am looking forward to Christmas.
Good. Glad to hear it. Of course, you said you obviously you're going to university. Are you because you're going to university in your home city? Are you still at home, or are you in a
I
student house?
am still at home, yes. I didn't, even though people do say, oh, you need the experience of sort of, the whole university experience is ruined if you don't sort of go into student accommodation. But I thought there's no point since it's about 10-15 minute drive down the road.
Yeah.
Plus, it gets me sort of driving and doing all sorts in the car, and so yeah, I'm not in student accommodation. I'm still living at home, and I just come home whenever I feel like it. That's how university is.
Good. Useful.
Yes.
Have you anything else of note on that thing, or are you done?
On that thing, well,
That you were thinking about
we were
the
talking about
thingy.
Christmas at one point.
We were. The thing before the Christmas, the list of things,
List of things.
the thingy list. You know,
What thingy list?
the list of links of news.
Oh yes. No, I couldn't see anything else.
Oh, okay.
As I mentioned Christmas. So
Cool. So
nothing else has happened.
we're gonna go through a thing because we need material. So I found all of the questions for the TMI vlog thing, but we're gonna do it with John here.
Oh.
Hello.
With it.
That was a lovely greeting. So yes, we've done the sort of vlog taggy thing before on the podcast, but we did the zombie apocalypse quiz thing. But now we're going to find out more about John. So there's 50 questions, John. First one, what are you wearing?
I am wearing jeans, slippers, bed socks of red with white stars, a grey and black jumper, sorry, and a rather filthy black jacket. I should probably put it in the wash. That's what I'm wearing right now, yes.
Brilliant.
What are you wearing? Or am I not allowed to ask that?
No, you can if you want. I'm currently wearing my cozy pajamas underneath my onesie with old man slippers.
Ah, I see. Okay.
That's my
I'm gonna put
usual.
my flat cap on.
I see. Characteristic.
Yes. So that people can compare me to those people from Last of the Summer Wine.
Second question. Ever been in love?
Now, I don't really understand love that much. I don't really understand human emotions that much.
This comes as no surprise to me.
It comes as no surprise to anyone. So, for me, love is a very weird concept to get around. From my understanding of love, yes, I have been in love. Let me see, 3 times to my knowledge, never amounted to anything. Usually ended in tears and disaster and that's chaos. But as far as I understand of love, 3 times to my knowledge, and maybe more besides. I once dreamed, well, I don't know if I dreamed or if I just managed to convince myself that I had been in a relationship with someone who I never even knew, someone who I'd made up. That
Okay.
I hadn't even made them up. It was just like one morning I woke up and suddenly remembered this relationship I'd never had. So I don't know. Maybe I'm completely insane and none of these people ever existed.
Well, it's a possibility.
Mm.
And on that note, I guess you sort of answered it already. Ever had a terrible breakup? Was the breakup with the imaginary person pretty harsh?
The breakup with the imaginary person. I don't even know what the breakup was. That was the really weird thing about it. That was the first thing that struck me when what year? I think it was like 2012 or something because I talk about it in the diaries. 2012, 2013. It was just like I remembered the experience. Like if anyone's out there is familiar with Red Dwarf, thanks for the memory when
What a show.
Lister gives Rimmer his memory of Lisa Yates.
Yes.
So Rimmer suddenly wakes up remembering this relationship that he never had, but in that instance, he does actually remember the breakup because Lister had a breakup with her. So
Yeah.
Lister's trying to defend everything that Rimmer thought that he did.
Yes.
My memory of it was very much like that.
So someone inserted a relationship you'd never had into your brain.
Pretty much, yeah. I never.
You sure you're not a hologram, John?
I don't know. Well, I've never properly injured myself well enough to find out. Like no one's ever attempted to shoot me and damage my hard light drive. So,
do you have a H on your head?
Not at the moment. But then again, Ace Rimmer didn't in Series 7.
That's true.
So I may be a hologram. I don't know. But yeah, the imaginary one, I don't remember any particular breakup. The other ones have just sort of ended really slowly and awkwardly, like a really drawn out sort of. Halfway through, you realise this is over, isn't it? But it's not quite over. It's getting there. And then the other times, just been people interfering and making a complete balls up of it for me. But I'm probably to blame for that as well. But that's another story.
Okay, then, very upbeat.
Oh yeah.
Next question: how tall are you?
I haven't measured myself in about 6 years. But my frame of reference is that my mother claims she's 5'2", and I'm considerably taller than her. So
you're not 5'2".
I'm not 5'2". I'm probably around 5'8".
I'm probably taller than you.
Yeah,
Actually, no, I'm probably the same size.
A lot of people are taller than me.
I envisage you as tall.
Really?
Well, yeah, generally.
I give off a sort of air of
tallness. I think it's just the lowness of your voice. You have a very adult voice.
Yes, but I have an adult voice, but I'm a very short person. That's saying yes.
Well, yes, I mean it's in the nicest way possible, but you do sound like Ringo and Total Biscuit had a child.
I can see that.
You can see... Definitely. The next question, how much do you weigh? I'm guessing that's the same sort of answer.
Yeah, the last time I weighed myself, it was about 8. No, not 8. No. I don't know. I don't even know what the last... Either... Yeah, I have no idea.
Okay,
I don't even know if we have a functioning set of scales in this house.
You're very good at this, I must say. Any tattoos or piercings? I'm guessing not.
No, I'm a very down-to-earth person. I don't do that sort of thing. But in terms of permanent sort of features of my body that have been involuntary or voluntary otherwise, I have a permanent scar on my forehead.
I see.
I've had that for 12 years.
Enlighten us.
Primary school, year 2. I seem to remember we were playing a game that we called Pirates, which I assume was just we were on a pirate ship. Not sure why it was a pirate ship, since it was the ends of the Terrapin classrooms. And for some reason, in this plot that we'd conceived for the game, I had to run down the stairs and run around the front of the Terrapin. Turned out that this other pupil was running in the opposite direction. And for some reason, 6-year-old me doesn't look where he's going, so I run straight into him. He was taller than me, so we collided where my scar is now, which is the center of my forehead, hit the top of his left eye, I think it was. And blood everywhere, lots of crying and pain and whatever. But yeah, it was just me being stupid and not looking where I was going. I wouldn't blame him because I don't know what the hell he was doing, because I wasn't looking, obviously.
You must have had a very sharp eyebrow.
Yeah, he probably did, yeah. Then again, it might have been, I don't know. Because it was a proper cut, because it's a genuine scar where it is just a...
Yeah.
It actually took quite a while to sort itself out in terms of get back to something that didn't look like an alien was going to start growing out.
Like it was going to lay eggs.
It did actually look like it was laying eggs at one point, from what I remember.
That's worrying.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I've got a couple of scars. I got one on my knee from when I went to India, and this is a story that needs to go on the internet anyway. Basically, I was probably 5, 6 maybe, and I was with my parents at a beach shack on the beach drinking whatever the hell I was drinking, and I needed a poo quite badly. And the toilets at the beach shack were typically Indian, so our hotel-y flat thing wasn't that far away, so me and Mum sort of jogged back, and because it was dark at this time, I couldn't see where the tarmac started, and the tarmac was jet black, and there was quite a big lip where the tarmac started and the gravel road that we were on ended. I didn't see that lip. I tripped over it and got loads of gravel in my knee, and then Mum had to half operate on my knee whilst I was taking a shit.
Right, okay.
So that's my story.
That's your story. That's your India experience.
Yes, and my scar is still there. 3 horizontal lines on my knee. So, yes.
Yeah, it's the first time I've ever heard, I mean, anyone ever sustaining an injury that's left a permanent mark while they were having a shit or while they were in pursuit of a shit.
Yes. Well, I am a fairly unique person, especially in the terms of feces. We won't go into that now. The next question, I'm not sure what it means. It just says OTP, question mark.
I have seen...
Do you OTP?
I've seen this before. Hold on, I'm going to Google it just to make sure I know what it means. One true pairing or one-time password. One true pairing, meaning your favourite combination of characters in a fandom. Would this mean the same fandom, or...?
I guess so, yeah.
I don't know, because I don't follow that many franchises where there is a pairing.
Yeah.
That is, I mean, I can understand why that question will be asked by anyone, because, you know, it's a usual question to ask to people who do follow several television series, several film franchise, several video games or whatever. But yeah, I don't...
Let's just say who's your favourite character from a fandom, then.
Favourite character overall? Oh my god.
Yes.
Oh, I don't know. Now, let's see. Okay. Right. I'm going to have to just list several characters because I've never put very much thought into any single favourite thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Like, I couldn't name a favourite film. I could probably name about 3 or 4. But favourite characters. Terry Collier from The Likely Lads. Clegg from Last of the Summer Wine. There was one that I was thinking of earlier, but I can't remember what the hell it is now. Crichton from Red Dwarf, I suppose.
Of course.
Yeah. I'm going to have a look at my DVD shelf for some inspiration.
Okay.
Gene Hunt.
Okay.
And let's throw some My Little Pony in there.
As you do.
Yeah, as you do, you know.
Are you a brony then, I guess?
Well, the thing is about the word brony has such harsh connotations on the internet and sort of conjures up this image of some rabid, lonely teenage boy wearing and holding loads of merchandise while screaming at the internet for not accepting them, trying to force their beliefs down their throat, which is not the case for me, at least.
Really?
Yeah, I don't preach about, you should watch this show. I do. If people sort of, people do have that reaction where you say, I watch My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and people go, ugh. I try and say to them, no, you should at least give it a try.
Yeah.
And then when they watch it and then don't like it, I just sort of go, fine, fair enough. You like what you like, I like what I like.
Which happens to be My Little Pony.
Yeah, exactly. Um, so yeah, there are probably a majority of bronies on the internet are filling the stereotype, but it's just a shame that that's the case.
Yes.
But yes, I still call myself a brony because it's such a shorter and neater way of saying I
My
watch
Little Pony fan.
Friendship is Magic. Yeah, exactly. Although I've never gone as far as considering buying the merchandise like some people do.
Yes.
Like actually going into a store and in a trench coat and low hat, it's like, I'd like to buy this Twilight Sparkle plushie, please.
Mm-hmm. I guess we can segue into the next question with this, which is, what's your favourite show?
My favourite show overall. I'm a big fan of panel shows like QI, Mock the Week, Have I Got News for You?
Mhm.
I love Top Gear. I love Red Dwarf.
We have very similar taste in TV, it seems.
I'm pretty much confined to Dave. Into
Yeah, that's the same as me.
And Robot Wars as well. When Robot Wars was on, I loved
Robot
Robot Wars. Hypnodisc, spin to win. Woo. So yeah, I'd probably say my favorite TV show at the moment is Top Gear. And I'm particularly looking forward to seeing how they deal with the Patagonia special.
Yes.
It's going to be pretty funny. So yeah, I'd probably say Top Gear with Red Dwarf and Are You Being Served coming close second. Are You Being Served?
That is a very good show.
It is. It's a shame that it's taken so long to start repeating it again.
Yeah, I've noticed it was on recently.
Yeah.
Aren't they doing a rejuvenation of that or something?
They're doing one of Dad's Army. Is that what you're thinking?
Maybe that was what I was thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah, because if they're actually filming that somewhere in Yorkshire, because it's Wilmington on Sea, I'd assume it's Scarborough or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, Are You Being Served? I don't think there's much opportunity for Are You Being Served to be rehashed now, since it was dated even when it was out.
Yeah.
Like Grace Brothers was a department store that was not of the 1970s. It was a department store of like the 40s or something.
Yeah.
But it was filmed in the 70s, and even though it looks dated and it looks so dated now because it's 40 years old, but
Yeah.
the show, it's still a very funny series. So anyone out there who's probably never heard of it, I suggest you look it up on YouTube or wherever,
Yes.
because it is certainly worth a watch.
Who is it? What's the peoples in it again?
The what?
The peoples in it.
In Are You Being Served?
Yes.
Well, you've got the actual show revolves around the ladies and gentlemen's department of this department store, like Harrods or John Lewis or whatever.
Yeah.
They're forced to share a floor in this store, and there's a bit of sort of tension between the two sexes. In the men's department, you've got Mr. Granger, Mr. Humphreys, and Mr. Lucas. Mr. Granger was the one who was replaced as time went on because the original actor died.
Yes.
Mr. Humphreys is the homosexual. Mr. Lucas was the young sort of what's the word? I want to say fraternizing, but that's something else, isn't it?
Yeah.
Either way, he's the one who sort of chats up Miss Brahms in the ladies' department. She is the junior to Mrs. Slocum, and then between the two, you've got Captain Peacock, who's the floor walker.
Yeah.
His job seems to be redundant, since people walk in, say, I'd like the ladies' department. He points them in the direction of the ladies' department, and then gets paid for it. I can never understand why floor walkers were needed, but he was a good character for the series because of how he worked with the other characters. Yeah.
I've realised what I was thinking of. It's Open All Hours.
Oh yes,
and they're doing a they're
series.
Still Open All Hours, or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's starting on Boxing Day, the new series. It's they did a one-off last Christmas, and then that was apparently so successful and so popular that they did a full series of it. I'm not. Well, I'm going to watch the series, but I'm not that excited about it, because I found with the one-off that it seemed like it was both combining sort of the best of the original 4 series, like reusing bits, and it was also cramming in the new bits, as if Roy Clark was thinking, okay, I might not get a chance to do a series, so let's just put all my ideas together in one episode.
Yeah.
So maybe that's just me being me, but yeah, I'm not too excited about it, but I'll still watch it just to be proven wrong.
Yeah. Favorite bands? Do you listen to music a lot?
Um, I listen to music a lot, but I don't listen to a lot of music. Like, right. When people ask favorite bands, do they literally mean band as in collection of people producing music together, or can you also include solo artists in that when people ask that question?
I should think
I
it's
always
just
want
generic artists.
to. Okay. So on my iPod, the large majority, I would say at least 2/3, is David Bowie.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yes. Then this sort of select bits from Neil Diamond, Matt Monro, who else? Berlin. There's a little bit of Oasis on there. Roxette. Then trying to think of any. Simon and Garfunkel.
So we've got very classic taste then.
Very classic, yeah. Occasionally there will be more recent stuff that I sort of hear on the radio that I'll take an interest in, but there's very rarely modern stuff or recent stuff that I will sort of think, yeah, I want that on my iPod, I want that on my iTunes, I want to listen to that every day.
Yeah.
I just think that modern music doesn't have quite the same quality to it, as it were.
No, I get what you mean. I do enjoy a lot of old music, but by far and away, my favourite band, at least at the moment, is the Arctic Monkeys.
Oh, right, yeah.
I just incredible, brilliance. They're brilliant. That's all I can say, really. Right, I'm gonna sort of start picking the interesting ones as opposed to reading all of these out. So the next interesting one, let's just go quickly. How old are you?
I am 18. I will be 19 in January. So, yeah, I'm almost into the 20s, which is a little bit worrying in terms of.
Frightening, yeah.
Yeah, but it's worrying, yet it's sort of relieving and rewarding at the same time. It's like I've made it this far, and I've done so little with my life, but I've made it this far. I'm finally starting to actually make use of my time and do things.
Yes, indeed. What is your favourite actor?
Favorite actor? Favorite actor. Why am I tempted to say Michael Caine?
Why aren't you tempted to say Michael Caine?
He just came to mind. The first thing that I thought was Michael Caine because of The Italian Job and Water, which is probably one of the lesser known Michael Caine films, but it's still a very funny film.
The Italian Job is brilliant. And the thing is, Michael Caine's good because he's slightly bad.
Yes.
If you take my meaning.
Yeah.
Like Nicolas Cage.
Oh God, yeah, Nicolas Cage. When you said slightly bad, even though he is so bad you can't call him slightly bad. Immediately into my mind came Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah. Oh my God, that wasn't even a laugh, but still. Yeah. The Room movie.
Oh hi.
Oh hi, Johnny.
So how's your sex life? So yeah, I'd probably say Michael Caine, but if I had longer to think about it, I'd probably come up with something else.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to think now. I can't think of anyone who isn't a comedy actor.
Well, it shows you like your comedy, I guess.
I know, yeah. Yeah, I can't think of anyone else.
What's your favourite colour?
My favourite colour? For the longest time, I would have said blue. Because I think the main reason I said blue was because I grew up watching Thomas the Tank Engine.
Yeah.
And a lot of the characters in that were blue, so I grew up sort of surrounded by blue. You what?
Back when it was good.
Back when it was. Wait, it's getting good again.
Is it though?
Oh, they've got.
It's all animated and they've got their own voices.
Yes, but they've got a writing team who actually respect the franchise now. They're actually bringing back old characters and they're getting rid of the shit ones that are introduced just to sell toys, or at least trying to, but they're still introducing them. But it's in safe hands. It's nowhere near as good as it was when we grew up with it, but it's in safe hands once again.
Yeah, it's going to be quite hard to get back to that level of awesomeness, though. I mean, they had Ringo narrating it, for God's sake.
Yeah, they will never get back to that level, but the best they can do is try and reach a similar level in their own way. See, I grew up watching that, so I was surrounded by the color blue, and I can still appreciate the color blue, but now I actually think I'm tending more to red. There's probably a reason why in 2011 I chose red as the predominant color of TST.
Yeah.
I don't know why it was, but I think with this sort of darker phase of my creativity and overall life, which has come about through sort of the 2009 to 2014 period, through some rather unfortunate personal turnarounds, as it were.
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I've turned to a sort of dark red, crimson, burgundy color as my favorite color. Or, yeah, so dark red or a dark blue.
So generic darky colours.
Not generic darky colors like
Well, darky blues and darky
darky
reds,
blues
I
and
guess.
darky reds. Maybe actually no. I think yeah, dark colors I can appreciate, but dark blue and dark red more so.
Yes. Um, this is an interesting one. Ever been in a physical fight?
Physical fight. Um, well, I suppose people have different levels of physical fight. Like if you don't come out with a broken nose and whatnot, it's not a physical fight. I've once when I got really irritated with a kid at primary school for following me around and
Yeah.
annoying me for 3 years, which is bound to sort of force anyone to
Yeah.
pressure. Um, the thing about me is I very rarely get angry. You know, there's been like select occasions where I think it's sort of built up and built up, and then I've just used one single very minor thing as an excuse to
Yeah.
just let it go. And on those
I'm a bit like
occasions,
that.
it's often I've often come out of it thinking that was completely unnecessary,
Yeah.
and I lose all enjoyment in being angry. There was one occasion in high school where I came back end of high school, year 11, very close to punching someone, and they didn't really
Yeah.
do anything, but it was because of when they did it, and it's hard to explain what they actually did and what was happening without going into a lot of
It was
detail.
just a generic annoying thing
It was,
that was, you know,
yeah.
let it
I
go.
think the reason why I wanted to punch them was because they were acting aggressive anyway. They were having this. This was a person who was very awkward and quiet and completely insane because they would come into school and explain how they'd sit in a classroom playing out in their head, imagining blowing up the school.
Yeah.
So they were a bit weird, and once again they followed us around everywhere. So they were genuinely an annoying person. And the problem was when they follow you around, people associate them with you. It's like, no, he just stalks us.
Yeah.
And on this particular day, he'd approached me, and you could tell that he was trying to be aggressive, but his aggressive was sort of looking like he needed to fart desperately. That was his angry, and he asked me in this sort of aggressive, constipated manner. Whatever question it was, I can remember vaguely what it was. Like I say, backstory, and I came very close to punching him, were it not for the fact that I was on my way to a lesson. So
Yeah.
had I had like a free period, I'd have probably
I would punch you, but I don't have the time.
just look at my watch. Well, can you hang around here for an hour?
Yes, I'll be back in a bit.
See, that's the closest I've come to probably punching anyone. But yeah, I'm not the sort of person who gets into fights because it doesn't match up with what I think is. Well, I don't even know how I'd solve that sort of situation. I think if I was in a
Yeah.
situation where most people would solve it with a fight, I'd just go, can we, just forget it?
Yeah, that's like me as well. I feel like if it came to it, I could defend myself, but I'm not the sort of person that goes looking for that sort of thing. Like if someone's starting to be aggressive towards me, I just sort of degrade them with wit instead of using my physical
I use
arsenal.
long words. That confused
Yes,
them.
intelligence,
Yes,
because usually the people that approach you trying to fight you are not intelligent.
exactly.
What's the reason you joined YouTube, John?
Right. Well, I joined YouTube 7 years ago. Uh, yeah, my
7 years. Oh my
first
God.
channel was 2007. Before then, I'd made a short series called The Stick Ones, which was very, very rubbish, and was based on something much more adult. Come to think of it, um, which I don't think even exists anymore. But if it does exist, it's on YouTube and it's called The Six Ones. That was what it was based on. Uh,
Oh, okay.
I made that at home, and no one ever watched it because it was at home. Uh, so I
Yeah,
thought I'm going to upload it somewhere, and I found YouTube somehow. Uh,
yeah. Because about 7 years ago, YouTube wasn't big at all.
YouTube was very, very new. YouTube was so different. It was back when we had 5 stars instead of thumbs.
Huh.
um, so yeah, that was when I joined just to share those, and they might not even have been the first videos I uploaded actually. So I probably did some other stuff, then uploaded that, then uploaded them. and then other things got in the way, including being depressed. So in about 2009, that channel died, and then I moved across to this one in 2011 because I thought, I want to go back to that because I enjoyed doing that.
Yeah.
Obviously, I want to tailor it more to what I am now because back then I had a higher pitched voice, believe it or not. So I was a much happier and a much lighter person. Come
Yeah.
2011, I've just come out of a rather morbid 2 years of being depressed for no reason, and I've got this. I call it a dark creativity, but I've never had a chance to sort of exercise it on TST. The closest I've come is in my novel writing.
Yeah. I think you're just sort of quite a dark person, but people think you're joking.
Yes, I think there's very few people who actually know the full sort of extent of my sort of real persona, as it were. Because the problem with being on the internet was that on YouTube and on Facebook and on Skype, I kind of created this alternate character who, in a sense, was the Jonateer, but I was also the Jonateer. But I wouldn't refer to myself as Jonateer. I wouldn't refer to myself as John Nicol on the internet, nor would I refer to myself as the Jonateer in real life. So they became separate.
Yeah.
And the problem was this two worlds sort of collide. People from school start seeing that I'm not the person that I'm on the internet. Things start getting buggered up. So now I'm trying to get rid of the fact that there's this insane sort of alternate me on the internet. But yeah, there's very few people who actually realise just what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, I act differently on the internet. I've got sort of two personas. I've got like, regular life me, and then as soon as I start, even if it's just like, messaging on Kick or something, as soon as I'm on the internet, I have a much more sensibly witty kind of humor and the way I act. And normally, most of my humor is based on like visual humor.
Yeah.
But on the internet, obviously, you don't have that benefit unless you're obviously on YouTube. But even then, I tend to use long words and things like that. So I've become a much more mature person on the internet. To put it in a nutshell.
I think the internet has sort of improved and weakened me because it's made me more outgoing in terms of, as you say, sort of the comedy side. I was never. Only recently have I started being a sort of physical comedy person, sort of comedy person. That was sort of like the back end of high school that started. But the internet has also ruined my social ability.
Yeah, it does. It does tend to have side effects. Have you got any fears?
Fears.
Phobias.
Yeah. Let's see. I don't actually think I have. I mean, things like looking down from the top floor of a building down the staircase, that sort of makes me feel uneasy. But I think that's the same for most people.
Yeah, it's just generic feeling of, oh, you're a bit high now.
Yeah. Oh, don't fall. Ooh, it's that kind of thing. And similarly, I'm not scared of spiders, but I just don't like them being there because actually no, I'm all right if I can see them. But if I look away and they're gone,
when you wake up in the night and then there's supposed to be a spider above your bed and it's not there.
That sort of thing. I don't have a fear of them. I just don't really like them being where I can't see them, as it were.
Yeah. As long as you can see them and see what they're doing, then it's fine.
Yeah. I don't think I have any fear. I don't think I have any fears.
Particular fears.
Do you?
Not really. Same sort of thing, really. I get a bit more vertigo. Like my dad gets really bad vertigo. I don't particularly like heights, but I don't feel sick or anything when I'm high up. And again, like you, I'm fine with spiders as long as I can see them. If they're not where I left them, then I'm slightly worried. But other than that, not really. Yeah. I'm obviously not completely comfortable in the dark, but then again, neither are most people, because there's a lot of scary stuff now in modern culture. There's a lot of things that make you look behind you.
Yes.
So meaning behind your YouTube name. This should be a short one because it's just your name, really.
Well, the first YouTube name was the Jonateers, and that was, as you say, well, I was the Jonateer on the internet, but in a sense, I was just one of two Jonateers. The Jonateers was a thing that came about in primary school, 2004. So the Jonateers have been around technically 10 years. It was me, and a guy who was in the year below, who was also called Jonathan, and his sister, Katie. And this was a sort. Back then, they were sort of space exploring people, and this
Okay.
was the game that was played. Um, then, as time went on, and obviously high schools separated us, and I just took on the Jonateer. Well, I took on Jonateer as sort of a username for things like Roblox and Habbo and YouTube. Um, I just took that on as my internet persona, and then the Jonathon and Piggy evolved into a book that I'm writing at the moment called The Intelligence People, which is about something completely different. So that's how
Yes.
things evolve and develop. The current YouTube username, The Simpleton Thing, I got that account in the November 2010, I think it was, but it was created in 2008 by a colleague of mine at high school called Alex. He was planning an animated, I think it was either a video or a series of short videos called The Simpletons of Camelot Quest for Kit Kats. I can remember
Okay.
him. He talked quite a lot about his ideas for it, and it was basically a random sort of Asduff movie kind of thing, but with a sort of plot,
Okay.
but the same sort of random
Humor.
humor. Yeah. And he was suggesting a lot of ideas for it, and I thought, oh, can't wait for this to be done. And then suddenly he stopped with it and said, "Do you want the YouTube channel?" And this was the point where my
Yeah.
YouTube channel was pretty much kaput because I'd lost all my subscribers. I hadn't uploaded anything for 2 years. So I said, "Yeah, sure, it'd be good to have a fresh start." And I
Yeah.
started with that account, and from the Simpleton thing came TST. So yeah, it's not a very long or exciting story, but it's a little bit of history of my sort of YouTube career and where my internet persona of the Jonateer came about.
Yeah. Last book you read and slash currently reading?
Uh,
I mean, obviously you're writing at the
I'm
moment.
writing books, yes, but the last book I read, um, I think I when was it? About 2 years ago, I got like a load of books together that I wanted to read. Like there was David Bowie's biography, Peter Sallis, the guy who plays Clegg in Last of Some Wine, his autobiography. Um, there was this sort of motivational book called Our Iceberg is Melting.
Okay.
A couple of other books that I can't remember on that list, on that pile. But I had that pile of books that I wanted to read. I got about 2/3 of the way through Peter Sallis's autobiography, and then something distracted me. I don't know what it was. It was 2 years ago, so it might have been YouTube stuff. Um, and I never went back to it. And I just keep meaning to go back to reading books because I just think that I'm missing out. If I'm writing them, I might as well be reading them as well. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
someone who I talked to on Facebook a couple of months back, um, they, they they read a lot of books. They're very they like reading books a lot, and they were telling me that I should get back into reading books. So I was saying, yeah, I will do, but I just never got round to it because of university and sixth form and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, the last book that I started to read, and technically I'm still reading because I haven't finished it, is Peter Sallis's autobiography.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what I've been reading. Something I never really thought I'd read is the Walking Dead
Yeah.
comics. So the original comics that inspired the series that was obviously done with permission of everyone who made it and
Mm.
everything. And it's interesting because I've never even as a kid I never read comics before. I mean I read like the Beano Annual and things. They're still over there on the shelf actually, but I've never read like superhero comics or anything. I've never got into it. And I didn't think that I'd be able to read it, but I've started reading it and it's really addictive. It's literally huge.
Mm.
I mean, you can probably hear me shut it.
Oh,
Actually, that's not a very impressive noise, but still,
still heard it.
it's really quite
Mm.
big. And my brother bought. This is the first compendium, which is like the first 8 chapters, and then my brother has also bought the second compendium, which is the next 8 chapters, and it doesn't follow the storyline of the TV series exactly. In fact, it varies quite a lot in some places, and it's a lot more fast paced. I mean, I tried watching the series, and I got to about like the very start of series 3, I think, and that's like the first quarter of this book.
Yeah.
It's very, very fast paced. But yeah, that's actually really addictive, and I didn't think at all that I'd get into that. I thought, oh, I'll try this because I just finished a book, I didn't know what to read, and I was just thought, oh, I guess I'll try this and see how it is, and it's really good.
Mm.
So yeah, I recommend that and it's also very casual to read, obviously because it's fast paced. You can just pick it up and put it down.
Fair enough. I've just remembered actually on books. It's not a book that I've been reading willingly, but it was a book that a lot of people wanted me to read for YouTube, which was 50 Shades of Grey.
Yes,
I never
actually.
finished it because I got to like the end of the 7th chapter and just completely lost the case with it. Then went back to it, and I just sort of stopped with it. But I'll probably go back to it because it's not that I want to read it because of the plot. It's because of how sort of bad it is. You keep wanting to sort of. It can't get any worse, surely. Could it get any better?
Yeah.
You know. So yeah, it's a good read if you're out for something that's just going to confuse you at how awful it is.
Yeah, I'm not sure quite what that sentence means.
Well, like I'm trying to just explain why it's so bad. A lot of people criticize it for the plot. I don't think the plot is even the worst bit of it. I think the worst bit is actually the writing of it. The fact that characters come in and never return. Characters are described and named, and so much detail is put into a character who appears for one line and then never seen again. And the
Yeah.
amount of repeated phrases and idioms and certain words and sentence structures is incredible. It's like the book was written on a vocabulary of 27 or something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's an interesting read if you just want something that I know why you should read it. Well, not you in particular, hypothetical you, the audience. If
Yeah.
you think that you are a bad writer, if you want a frame of reference for what is a bad sort of the wrong way to write,
If you're feeling bad about your writing, read 50 Shades of Grey, you'll feel fine.
yes. But if you're feeling bad about anything else, it'll make you feel worse because of how bad it is. So you just need that frame of reference, that comparison. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a book I'd recommend for the plot or for anything other than are you curious about how shit it is?
So it's for the sake of the cliche.
Pretty much yes. Although not quite the cliche that it's becomes. Like I say, people think it's bad because of the plot, but that's
Yes.
not the case as far as I can tell.
Do you have a favourite food?
I am very big fan of pasta-based things, um, but if anyone's ever had any of the Weatherspoons burgers, um, I love all of them. Um,
You seem like the sort of person that goes to Weatherspoons
I
a lot.
do, yes. I think we go like 3 times a week. It's like Sunday morning for breakfast, Friday because it's fish, and any other day for anything else. It's cheap
Yeah.
and it's good food, and of course, the any drinks with the food is just a pound extra. So
Yeah.
yeah, I already like pasta. I like chicken based things. So I like bacon, and what other?
Who doesn't like
I
bacon?
also in terms of the weird food section, I am a big fan of pate and haggis. Not at the same time, but
Yeah. Pate's nice. I've never tried haggis.
I tried haggis several years ago, which was just a shop bought one. And then I had proper haggis for my 18th birthday because my birthday falls on Burns Night, which is a big thing in Scotland because of Rabbie Burns. And so we went
Yeah.
to a proper Burns Night meal thing there, and on the menu was haggis. So yeah, haggis. It's people are put off by what it is, but
Yeah.
you can eat it without thinking about what it is, and
Yeah.
it's entirely enjoyable. So yes, try haggis.
Do you play any instruments?
Um, I have a horn. It's not really an instrument. It's more of a car horn.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh, that was like a sound effect. I didn't add that in, okay?
No, that's actually a horn that I've got. Like it's a proper antique horn. But yeah,
Okay.
I I went through a phase where I thought about learning to play the guitar,
Mhm.
and then learning to play the piano, and then once again time and motivation and attention span never got around to doing it. But I'd quite like to learn to properly play the piano. I mean, I know the keys, but I just can't string them together and read sheet music. So, um, yeah, I'd probably learn to play the piano if I got a chance.
Cool. And let's just make this the last question, I guess. Last sport you played. You don't really seem like the sportiest person, if I may say so.
Um, yeah, I'm not really a sporty person. In fact, the last sports I probably played were in PE at high school, which is 3 years ago. Um, so let's see. I'm trying to think. I won't have had any opportunity to play any besides.
Yeah.
because I don't really leave the house. I don't really go to anywhere where this sport's going on. So yeah, the last sport I played would probably have been a very lackluster defense in football or something like that.
Yeah.
Um,
The high school person that's not quite good enough to be picked anywhere near the first, in the
the
line.
last three.
Yeah. The person that just ends up going to that team because there's nobody left.
Well, to be honest, even though I was in no way good at any sports, apart from handball, I was all right at that because it was fairly small teams. I wasn't. I was actually chosen sort of halfway through whenever there was football picking because although I was crap at the sport, people actually liked me, whereas the people who were usually crap at football, no one talked to. So I was in
Yeah.
this weird group where people liked, I was chosen for the sports because people liked me, even though they would never be talking to me in the sport because they'd be just kicking a ball around. So I was
Yeah.
in that weird group, which was a good group to be in because they didn't expect that much of me.
Yeah. I guess I'm in the same sort of group. Things everyone thinks I'm quite good at football and rugby and things, but no, I'm just better than people expect because I usually hang out. Well, I do hang out with the people who, they're not the sporty ones. They're the people who almost always get picked
Yeah,
last. So whenever I do like well at rugby or football or anything, they're like, "Oh well, no, you're really good." I'm just like, "Well, not really." Um, uh, but yeah, I usually play like centre back
yeah.
or right back in football, and rugby I just do things on the wing. I never do any of it outside of PE lessons, so I do basketball. I guess actually, basketball's my favourite sport, if anything, because I'm actually quite good at it.
Yeah.
So other than that, I'm not really the sportiest person. So I guess we don't really have much time left. I guess we've overrun somewhat, but I'm sure that'll be edited down in the editing
Yes, you
phase.
can tell your skis.
So yeah, this has only been me and John actually. So Louis, I was sort of hoping Louis and Felix would drop in at some point, but they haven't. So thank you very much for watching. I'm gonna direct you to John's channel, or the channel on which John is. It's the Simpleton Thing, all one word, no capitals.
Yes.
And obviously you're on my channel right now. You can go and check out John's podcast thing that he does with a guy called Relic. That's why it's brilliant. And that is on the channel. And obviously we've talked about some of the other videos that John's been doing recently. He's been doing Havo and Let's Read 50 Shades. Other than that, thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.
Bye bye now.